On February 6, 2021, Yale graduate student Kevin Jiang's life was tragically cut short in New Haven, Connecticut. What initially appeared to be a simple case of road rage after a minor fender bender soon revealed a dark and twisted story involving obsession, premeditation, and betrayal. Kevin, 26 years old, was a beloved member of his community, a U.S. Army veteran, and a passionate environmental studies student. Engaged to his fiancée Zion Perry, Kevin was on the cusp of a bright future, but all of that changed on a cold evening in February when he was shot and killed just moments after a seemingly insignificant traffic incident. Act number 1. The encounter. It all started when Kevin Jiang was driving through the streets of New Haven. Around 8:00 p.m., he was involved in a minor fender bender, a typical occurrence on the busy streets. Little did Kevin know that this seemingly innocent encounter would be the catalyst for his brutal murder. After the crash, Kevin stepped out of his vehicle and a brief exchange took place between him and the driver of the other car. In what would later be revealed as an intentional and chilling act, the driver of the second car, armed with a firearm, gunned Kevin down in cold blood. Witnesses reported hearing gunshots, and the police quickly arrived at the scene, where they found Kevin lying in the street, critically wounded. Despite their best efforts to save him, Kevin died from his injuries shortly after. Act number 2. Uncovering the mystery. At first, investigators suspected that Kevin's death could be the result of road rage. However, as they delved deeper into the case, they uncovered something far more sinister. The investigation soon pointed to Qinxuan Pan, a former MIT researcher, as a prime suspect. Pan, a 29-year-old with a background in engineering and a promising academic career, seemed to have no clear motive for committing such a heinous crime. However, as the investigation unfolded, authorities discovered a disturbing connection between Pan and Kevin's fiancée, Zion Perry. Act number 3. The obsession. Zion Perry, a fellow graduate student at Yale, had been in a relationship with Kevin for several years, and the two were engaged to be married. However, it was revealed that Pan had been fixated on Zion. Sources suggested that Pan had been pursuing her for some time, and he was reportedly deeply jealous of her relationship with Kevin. Pan and Zion had met while she was studying at MIT, where Pan had once been a researcher. It is believed that, over time, Pan developed an unhealthy obsession with Zion, believing she might be the key to advancing his own personal desires and ambitions. As Zion's relationship with Kevin grew stronger, Pan's jealousy seemed to intensify, eventually culminating in a horrifying act of violence. Act number 4. The plan. What investigators uncovered next was chilling. The evidence pointed to a premeditated plan by Pan to kill Kevin Jiang. Authorities discovered that Pan had stalked Kevin and Zion for weeks leading up to the murder, carefully planning the night of the fender bender. In the days prior to the shooting, Pan had been following Kevin's movements, studying his habits, and waiting for the right opportunity to strike. The minor crash was no accident. It was part of Pan's strategy to create a situation where he could confront Kevin. As Kevin stepped out of his car to exchange information, Pan took his chance and executed his plan with cold efficiency. What made the crime even more disturbing was the fact that Pan didn't flee the scene immediately. After shooting Kevin, he calmly walked away, leaving behind no traces of his involvement in the crime. However, investigators would soon connect the dots, finding a pattern of behavior that pointed directly to Pan. Act number 5. The manhunt. Once authorities identified Pan as the prime suspect, they began a nationwide manhunt to apprehend him. But Pan had already gone into hiding, and law enforcement struggled to track him down. The search for Pan took several months, and the case gained widespread attention due to the disturbing nature of the crime. Pan's background as a well-educated, seemingly upstanding individual only added to the shock of the case. How could someone with so much potential and promise commit such an horrific act? Authorities soon learned that Pan had fled to Alabama, where he was arrested in May 2021, after being on the run for nearly 3 months. The capture of Qinxuan Pan was met with a mix of relief and disbelief. Relief that justice would be served, but disbelief that someone so seemingly rational could commit such a brutal crime. Act number 6. The trial. In the months following Pan's arrest, the case continued to shock the public, as more details about his life and his relationship with Zion Perry came to light. Pan was charged with murder, and the trial was closely followed by the media, with many wondering what could have driven an otherwise accomplished individual to commit such a senseless act. During the trial, prosecutors argued that Pan's actions were driven by a deep-seated obsession and jealousy, and they presented evidence that Pan had been planning the murder for weeks, if not months. His fixation on Zion, combined with his own emotional instability, was cited as key factors that led to the crime. For Zion Perry, the trial was an emotional and painful experience, as she was forced to relive the tragedy of losing her fiancé in such a horrific manner. Zion had been with Kevin for years, and their relationship was filled with love, hope, and the promise of a future together. Kevin's death left her devastated, as well as their families, friends, and the entire Yale community, who had come to know him as a kind, thoughtful, and dedicated individual. Act number 7. Reflections and impact. Kevin Jiang's tragic death, caused by obsession and jealousy, serves as a sobering reminder of how unchecked emotions can lead to devastating consequences. His promising life was stolen by Qinxuan Pan, whose inability to accept rejection ended Kevin's future. The loss shocked the Yale and Army veteran communities and left his fiancée, Zion Perry, to navigate a lifetime of grief. Kevin's story highlights the importance of addressing emotional and mental health struggles before they escalate. Though his life was cut short, his memory lives on, urging us to prioritize love, respect, and understanding in our relationships. If this story has touched you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Sharing this story helps raise awareness about the dangers of obsession and the importance of addressing mental health struggles before they escalate. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay compassionate, and we'll see you in the next video.